Let's have a look at components for this lesson. So what we've done previously, we've made a little list in our app, and we can easily copy paste these groups, these list items, in order to create a longer list. But if we want to change, for example, the font size here, you will notice that it will not increase in the other items. And there's a very nice feature called components within Figma, where you can produce one item and then create instances of that item and still be able to sort of edit the styles for the parent component, while it also influences all the instances of that component. So let's do that right now. So we're just going to delete the two list items that we created below here. Let's just remove them. I'll move this out of the way a little bit. And let's refactor this into a component. So actually making a component is very simple. As soon as you have an item selected, you can right click and click create component. There's also a shortcut there if you want to use it. I usually just use the right mouse click. And as soon as we create a component, you will see that it now becomes purple. And on the left side, you will see there's this sort of 4 squares that are appearing, which indicates that this is your master component. The master component is sort of the boss and decides what everything else will look like. Now, as soon as I copy paste the master component in order to make extra items in that list, you will see that it looks like it doesn't really appear. I've had this frustration for a while now. And as you can see, it did actually appear in the layer list, and that's just because it appeared right on top of the original master component. So let's undo that for now, and let's move our master component out of the way, out of the artboard. And let's copy it again, click overview, and then paste it. Now you will see it's immediately nicely visible. And now what we're going to do, we're going to try and change something in the master component. So let's say we want to increase the font size of the servings and the amount of time it takes to prepare it. So let's set it to 13, 14, and as you see, it immediately does the same for the instance of that component. Now, if we would be changing the font size of the title inside the instance, and the instance is indicated by this empty tilted square here, you will see that I'm still able to change the font size for this specific layer. If I press enter, it will commit those changes, but the original master component is still the same. Now if I make another, oops, see, I do it again. Let me just move this one up. So now I'm going to create another instance of this component. Slightly down, and let's just change the color of the master component text here and set it to red, a bit brownish, reddish. You'll see that it also changes for both the instances, but if I would change the font size now, it will only change for the instance where it has not yet been overridden. So you can override settings per instance of a component and still keep some other settings more generic. And that is very handy because for us, if we want to have different recipes with different images, we really want to have every recipe with a different image and also a different name. So I'll move this slightly up and go here a bit. So now we have our recipe here. This one still has the longer or like bigger font size text. If we want to reset that to the default values, we can right click on the instance and choose reset instance. Now we're still, we are again on track with what the master component is telling us how it should look. So let's do some more details here. Let's move this one slightly up. Maybe we want the image to be slightly bigger even, so let's move this one down a bit, give the image a bit more room, and make this rectangle slightly bigger. I think this will do. And as you can see, if I now select the instance, because I've resized this one, the original sort of component size is still remembered. And we can fix that by just clicking on the component and then clicking this button, which resizes to fit. And now you'll see that the size is back again and it's back the way it should be. So now we have to create some random text and random images for our recipes that we're going to paste in this area. As you can see, you can also copy paste from an instance of a component. So let's select all of these, align them centered quickly, and now let's add a different image for every component. So we will command click on the image that we have here, command shift click in order to select multiple of those. So you can also make a multi-selection within different components. And now we will just right click, plugins, Unsplash, and click food and see what type of Italian food we'll get now. As you can see, food is loaded into every unique recipe. Let's try that one more time. And we have new entries again for every recipe. But as you'll see now, the text is still the same. So we're going to use another plugin in order to also auto-generate some text. So we'll go to the menu again, plugins, manage plugins. And then we'll look for this sort of infamous lorem ipsum text that we can have generated. So if you look for lorem ipsum, you'll find this plugin by David Williams and click install. You will have it installed. And what we can do now, we can now select the recipe name. We'll do that with Command Shift or Control Shift for the other names as well. Let's right click, plugins, and choose lorem ipsum. Now we can choose two types of lorem ipsum. We can have it generated from multiple sentences, like have a very long paragraph. But we can also auto-generate it to the size of our text frame. And if I do that now, you will see that it is automatically trying to find words that fit. Unfortunately, something is going wrong here. So why don't we just manually adjust it here? So now we have recipes with each a unique image, and we know how to use these components as well.